There's a moment that happens between two people that changes everything, and it usually starts with the eyes. Not words, not touch, just the way someone looks at you. And yet most people completely overlook this moment because they think connection starts with conversation. But the truth is, before you ever open your mouth, your eyes are already doing the talking. The way you look at someone tells them everything: how open you are, how confident, how grounded you feel in yourself. Eye contact creates tension, intrigue, and attraction without you having to say a single clever line. The kind of eye contact that gives a guy butterflies isn't forced. It's not a stare, and it's not performance. It's relaxed. It's a moment where you're fully present, not in your head, not thinking about what to say next, just fully there with him. You look at him, you hold it for just one beat longer than expected, and then you smile. Not a big grin, not a cheesy smirk, a soft, real, subtle smile. That smile isn't just polite, it's an invitation, and that second of holding it, that's what gets him. Most people break eye contact too quickly. They get nervous, they look away, they fidget, they check their phone. But when you don't do that, when you stay grounded in that small window of eye connection, it sends a signal. A guy picks up on it even if he doesn't understand why he feels something. He just knows that suddenly there's a spark. And when you then look away, that's when the butterflies hit, because it leaves something in the air, a little question mark, a little mystery. Now let's be clear. This isn't about seducing him with your eyes. It's about showing confidence without a single word. When you hold someone's gaze, it says, "I'm comfortable. I'm not in a rush. I see you." Most people never give that. They're too busy rushing the moment or trying to control it. But when you let that silence be okay, when you let that gaze linger naturally, you show real presence. And presence is magnetic. It draws people in. What makes this even more powerful is the contrast it creates. In a world of distractions and surface-level small talk, holding someone's gaze stands out. It's rare. It feels intimate, even if nothing's been said. That tiny moment can stop time, not because it's dramatic, but because it's real. That authenticity is what leaves a mark. When a guy feels that moment with you, it bypasses logic. It doesn't have to be explained. He just knows something shifted. People often think butterflies come from grand gestures or over-the-top flirting. But the truth is, they often come from the subtleties, the almosts, the maybes, the space between certainty and mystery. Eye contact lives right in that space. It's quiet confidence, it's playfulness with restraint, it's emotional electricity without physical touch. And here's the interesting part. The smile at the end of the eye contact isn't just for him, it's for you. Because when you smile like that, it shows you're enjoying the moment. You're not performing, you're not calculating, you're genuinely letting yourself feel that energy. That changes the way your smile lands. It becomes something he feels, not just something he sees. And when you look away, you leave him with a feeling, not a thought, a feeling. He may not even understand what just happened. He might go on with the conversation like nothing shifted. But something did. That eye contact, held just long enough, softened with a smile, and broken with grace, is unforgettable. It's simple. But it's the kind of moment that lingers long after you're gone. He'll think about it without even trying to. He'll remember the feeling in his stomach, and next time he sees you, he'll be looking for that moment again. Teasing, when done right, is one of the most underrated forms of flirtation. It's not about making fun of someone. It's about creating a little push and pull, a little contrast between warmth and challenge. Most people try too hard to impress or agree with someone they like. But when you tease in a playful, light-hearted way, it flips the script. It shows you're not trying to win him over. You're enjoying yourself. That ease, that confidence, is what really gets his attention. It feels different from what he's used to. Think about the kind of teasing that feels safe but exciting, like gently mocking his ridiculously complicated coffee order or laughing at how seriously he takes his fantasy football league. It's affectionate, but it doesn't flatter him for no reason. It makes him feel seen. And when you can tease someone while still making them feel good about themselves, that's a rare balance. It makes the conversation feel alive. It adds personality. It pulls you out of small talk and into chemistry. The power of teasing is that it disrupts predictability. If every conversation is agreeable and polite, it's easy to forget. But if you add a little bit of play, if you lightly challenge something he says or raise an eyebrow when he brags about his gym routine, suddenly you're not just another person being nice. You're someone who can hold your own, someone who doesn't just go along with everything. That challenge, wrapped in charm, creates tension, and tension creates butterflies. Now, it's important that the teasing is always delivered with warmth. Your tone matters more than the words themselves. It's the smile as you say it, the spark in your eyes, the way you lean in slightly when you deliver the line. You're not trying to bring him down. You're building rapport by keeping things playful. And the moment he teases you back, that's when the real magic begins. It becomes a dynamic, a dance. Guys are used to either being ignored or praised. But when you hit that middle ground, that I like you, but I'm not afraid to mess with you a little energy, that's when you stand out. It tells him you're not trying to impress him, but you're enjoying him. You're not putting him on a pedestal, you're equal, you're engaging with him from a place of curiosity, not approval seeking. That subtle shift makes a massive difference in how he feels around you. Some of the best teasing comes from listening closely. Notice the little things, the way he gets animated about a topic, the phrases he repeats, the things he's clearly proud of. Then tease those lightly. Say, wow, you really lit up just now. Is this your TED Talk moment? Or, okay, tell me you haven't rehearsed that speech in the mirror. You're showing that you're paying attention, but not in a serious, heavy way. You're turning the moment into something memorable. The beauty of this kind of teasing is that it creates contrast. You might tease him 1 second, then genuinely compliment him the next. That range, that unpredictability, is what makes people feel butterflies. It's the emotional roller coaster of not knowing exactly what's coming next. 1 minute you're challenging him, the next minute you're laughing together. It keeps the energy alive, it makes the moment feel personal, and it keeps him engaged. When you tease from a place of fun, not ego, you invite him to relax. You make it clear that you're not fragile, that you can handle a bit of back and forth without taking things too seriously. And when a guy sees that, when he feels like he can joke, flirt, and be himself around you, that's when he lets his guard down. That's when his mind stops analyzing and starts feeling. Because teasing isn't just about being funny, it's about creating connection through play. There's a certain kind of compliment that most people give, and it's the kind that disappears the moment it's said. You're cute. You're hot. I like your smile. Those are nice to hear, but they're not the kind of compliments that make someone feel seen. They're surface level, predictable, forgettable. But when you give a compliment that catches someone off guard, that touches on something deeper, more personal, it lingers in their mind far longer than 1,000 generic ones ever could. Think about it. Everyone compliments a guy's looks, especially if he's attractive. But how often does someone compliment his work ethic, his emotional intelligence, the way he protects his friends, or the calmness in his energy? When you notice and name something subtle, something he may not even realize he gives off, it tells him you're paying attention. It tells him that you're not just looking, you're seeing. And that level of attention is rare. It's disarming in the best way. A great unexpected compliment is specific. It's not just, you're smart. It's, you explain things in a way that makes people feel understood. It's not, you're nice. It's, I can tell you make people feel safe just by being around you. See the difference? The second version makes someone feel like you really get them, like you picked up on something meaningful that most people overlook. That kind of compliment doesn't just boost their ego, it hits them emotionally. And here's the key. Deliver it casually. Don't make it a big moment. Just say it like it's something obvious to you. Like, you're actually really thoughtful. I don't think most people realize that. Or, you're the kind of guy who remembers small details. I noticed that. The more relaxed you are when you say it, the more authentic it feels. It's not about impressing him with how deep you are. It's about showing that you notice things that others miss. Compliments like these create emotional contrast. Most interactions live on the surface. But when you drop a compliment that goes deeper, it immediately changes the tone. It moves you both into a different level of connection. It's like a soft spotlight. It catches him by surprise, warms him, and makes him pay attention. Not just to you, but to how he feels in your presence. That feeling is what creates that butterfly moment. What's interesting is that sometimes a guy doesn't know how to respond to an unexpected compliment. He might brush it off or act like it didn't land. But don't be fooled by the surface reaction. Inside, it hits. He's thinking about it later. He's replaying the moment because that compliment touched a part of him that doesn't get touched often. And no matter how confident he seems on the outside, that moment means something. This isn't about flattery. It's not about saying something nice to get something back. It's about choosing what you notice. Anyone can say, "I like your jacket." But when you say, "You have a calming energy," like things feel less chaotic when you're around, you're giving him something deeper, something that tells him, "I see the part of you that matters." And when someone feels seen like that, they don't forget the person who saw them. Most guys have heard the same compliments over and over. That's why unexpected ones hit harder. They break through the autopilot of everyday interaction. They create a moment of pause, a feeling of, "Wait, what just happened?" That pause is where butterflies live. In that space between what he expected and what he felt. And it all starts with the kind of compliment that comes from awareness, not performance. There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't give everything away too soon. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about protecting the energy of the connection. When you hold something back, it invites curiosity. It creates a space for the other person to lean in. People often think sharing everything makes them more likable. But the opposite is often true. When you reveal your entire story up front, you leave nothing to discover. And discovery is what keeps a connection exciting. Mystery isn't silence, it's selectivity. It's knowing what to share now and what to let unfold later. If someone asks, "What are you looking for in a guy?" most people jump in with a full list. But mystery lives in the answer that makes him work for more. Something like, "I could tell you, but I'd rather show you." That doesn't shut him down. It pulls him in. It creates a question in his mind that only you can answer in time. And that question is where the butterflies start. When you keep a little mystery, you stay unpredictable. If you're too open too fast, the story gets too linear. He thinks he knows everything about you by the end of the second date. But if you leave space, if you let him wonder, it gives the connection oxygen. He's not sure where it's going, and that uncertainty isn't a bad thing. That's what makes his heart race a little. That's what makes him think. You become someone he wants to figure out, not just someone he already understands. The problem with full disclosure is that it can feel like a job interview. Here's my past, here's my trauma, here's my checklist, here's my 5-year plan. That might be relevant eventually, but too much too soon makes it feel transactional. When there's no emotional rhythm, no holding back, it can feel like information overload. But when you sprinkle in just enough to intrigue him, it shifts the energy. Now he's leaning forward, not leaning away. He's curious, not just polite. You want to reveal parts of yourself, like chapters in a novel, not all at once in a resume. Let him earn the next piece of the story. Let moments unfold naturally instead of feeling like they're being presented. That natural reveal creates emotional pacing. And emotional pacing is what allows tension, excitement, and intimacy to build. It's not about being closed off. It's about being intentional. Being someone who doesn't spill everything just because someone asks. Being someone who owns her story and chooses when and how to share it. Even the way you answer basic questions can carry mystery. If he asks, "What do you do for fun?" instead of giving a list, say, "Depends who I'm with." It's simple, playful, and suddenly he's imagining different sides of you. It leaves him wondering what else he doesn't know. That wondering, that space between what he sees and what he senses, is what creates anticipation. And anticipation is where attraction lives, not in certainty, but in curiosity. Mystery also means knowing when to pause. If you're on a date and there's a moment of silence, don't rush to fill it. Let it breathe. Let it stretch a little. When you're comfortable in that silence, it says something powerful. It says you're not afraid of space. You're not trying to perform. And that calm self-assurance is a form of mystery in itself. It keeps him guessing, not in confusion, but in fascination. There's a version of you he'll only see when the connection deepens. Save that part. Let him discover it gradually. That version, the playful, thoughtful, emotionally rich part of you, becomes even more powerful when it's earned. You don't have to hide who you are. Just don't put everything on the table right away. Let him feel there's more to explore. Let him crave the next conversation, the next moment, the next layer. That's how mystery becomes irresistible. Attraction isn't always about saying the perfect thing. Sometimes it's about feeling in sync. When you mirror someone's energy, you're speaking a language without words. You're saying, I get you. I feel where you're at. People connect more deeply when they sense emotional alignment. If he's playful and high energy, match that playfulness. If he's calm and grounded, settle into that rhythm. It doesn't mean copying him, it means tuning in. That tuning in is what makes him feel safe and excited around you. Mirroring energy is about emotional intelligence. It shows that you're present, not just performing. A lot of people push their own vibe without noticing how the other person is showing up. But when you're adaptable, when you can feel his tone and meet it with ease, it creates flow. Conversations stop feeling like effort and start feeling like chemistry. He won't even realize why he enjoys talking to you so much. He just feels seen without needing to explain himself. That feeling is rare, and he'll crave it. It's not about being a chameleon or changing who you are. It's about range. If you're always one note, always upbeat, always serious, always sarcastic, it becomes predictable. Mirroring says, I have emotional depth. I can meet you where you are. That level of connection builds intimacy fast. It's not fake. It's emotionally fluent. It tells him you're not just living in your own bubble. You're connected, paying attention, and willing to respond to the moment. Watch how he moves, how he laughs, how he reacts. If he leans in, you lean slightly too. If he slows down his speech, you soften your tempo just a bit. These small, non-verbal cues speak volumes. They're subtle, but they create a sense of closeness that feels natural. He won't feel like he's being managed or led. He'll just feel comfortable. That comfort leads to emotional openness, and openness leads to those deeper butterfly moments you can't manufacture. The reason mirroring works is because people feel safest around those who reflect their rhythm. Think about it. When you're with someone who's totally off your wavelength, you feel tense. But when they match you, you relax. That relaxation is where connection happens. It's the unspoken vibe that makes someone want to stay in the moment longer. When he feels that easy flow with you, time starts to disappear. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry being built through emotional matching. Even humor works better when you mirror his tone. If he's being dry and sarcastic and you suddenly hit him with bubbly energy, it clashes. But if you pick up on that sarcasm and toss it right back, it sparks. He feels like you're playing the same game, like you get the rules without them needing to be explained. That shared language is what makes inside jokes form quickly. It builds the sense of us instead of you and me. That sense of us is what flips a switch in his attraction. Sometimes the best way to mirror energy is just to slow down. Let the moment breathe. If he's in a grounded, reflective mood, don't try to liven it up. Match his pace. Let yourself settle into it. Let the silence hang without needing to fill it. That calmness can be incredibly magnetic. He's not used to someone who can just be with him without trying to steer the moment. And when you can do that, you become someone he feels good around without knowing why. Mirroring also shows that you're not trying to dominate the space. You're not trying to impress. You're not trying to prove. You're simply meeting him where he is and letting things unfold from there. That kind of confidence, the kind that doesn't force energy but adapts with ease, is incredibly attractive. It's the opposite of neediness. It tells him you're already whole, already grounded, already good. And when he feels that groundedness, it invites him to show more of himself too. Touch is one of the most powerful tools for connection, but it's often misunderstood. People think physical touch has to be bold or overt to make an impact, but the opposite is often true. The most powerful touches are the lightest, the ones that feel unintentional but linger in his mind. A brief touch on the arm during a laugh, a gentle nudge as you walk side by side, they create a current, a sense of closeness that isn't overwhelming but undeniable. Innocent touch invites someone in without pressuring them. It's subtle enough to stay under the radar, but personal enough to spark something. Men don't get touched that often in meaningful ways. Outside of romantic relationships, most guys go through life with very little affectionate contact. So when a woman breaks that barrier gently, it gets noticed. Not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a way that feels different. It tells him you're comfortable in your skin. It shows confidence without the need to show off. It introduces warmth into the moment, and that warmth lingers long after the touch ends. The key to innocent touch is timing. It has to feel natural to the moment, not forced or out of sync. You're not planning it, you're allowing it. Maybe it's a hand on his shoulder when he says something sweet, or brushing a piece of lint off his jacket with a smile. It's all in the delivery, relaxed, friendly, and brief. No pressure, no intensity. Just enough to say, I'm here, I'm connected, without saying a word. Innocent touch works best when paired with laughter or shared emotion. A moment of eye contact and a soft tap on the hand when you say, you're impossible, creates something he'll remember. It's not what you said. It's how the moment felt. And that feeling goes beyond logic. It taps into something primal, something emotional. Suddenly he's aware of how close you are, how effortless the interaction feels, how it feels good just being around you. These small touches add layers to the conversation. They take it from a purely verbal interaction to a more sensory one. That shift is subtle, but it activates something deeper. It creates chemistry without needing to say anything flirtatious. It builds familiarity, the kind that makes him start imagining more closeness, more connection. Not because you're being provocative, but because you've opened the door physically, just a crack. Just enough for the imagination to step in. The most attractive touches are the ones that feel casual but meaningful. When you touch without making it a big deal, it becomes powerful. You're not asking for attention, you're offering connection. And in that offering, you signal comfort, ease, and presence. It's a different energy than someone who's trying to grab attention. It's soft power, the kind that says, I don't need anything from you, but I'm not afraid to create closeness. That kind of touch makes a lasting impression. You'll know it's working when he starts touching you back in the same way. Not in a heavy, aggressive way, but in mirrored moments. A hand on your back as you step through a door, a playful nudge when he jokes with you. That reciprocity is a sign he's feeling it, that your physical energy has made him feel more open. The touch becomes a conversation of its own, one that builds slowly, naturally, and in alignment with the connection that's already growing. When you use touch sparingly, it stays special. If everything is touchy from the start, it becomes noise. But when you hold back and then choose your moments, when your touch is intentional but effortless, it speaks volumes. It tells him you're confident enough to create closeness without needing to explain it. You're not afraid of intimacy, but you don't hand it out casually. That contrast, the mix of comfort and mystery, is what creates butterflies. There's a special kind of closeness that forms when two people share something that feels like it's just theirs. It might be a tiny detail, an innocent secret, or a recurring joke that no one else would understand. These moments create a private little world between you and him, a space only the two of you can step into. That shared space builds emotional intimacy in a way that feels playful, effortless, and personal. It makes every future interaction feel more layered, more meaningful. You're no longer just two people getting to know each other. You're co-creating something. And that sense of us is what starts stirring those butterflies. Inside jokes are more than just funny comments. They're emotional bookmarks. They mark moments of shared laughter, mutual understanding, or subtle mischief. When you say, "Don't start with your coffee obsession again," with a smirk, and he immediately laughs, that's not just humor. That's chemistry built on memory. It's the reminder that you've had moments already, moments that mean something. The brain links emotion with memory. So every time that joke comes up, the good feeling resurfaces. And every time it resurfaces, it deepens his emotional connection to you. Shared secrets don't have to be serious to be powerful. It can be as simple as a glance you both give when someone says something awkward, or a little story he tells you that he doesn't share with just anyone, and you don't make a big deal of it. You just hold it. You treat it like something valuable, something safe. That tells him, I see you and I respect your trust. Even small secrets build a sense of closeness. They create a contrast between what the world sees and what you get to see. These moments feel light, but they carry weight. Think about how many people someone talks to in a day. Most conversations float on the surface, polite, pleasant, forgettable. But when someone starts to associate you with a specific laugh, a specific look, a specific memory, you stop being just another person. You become someone who means something. And that's when the shift begins, from casual interest to emotional attachment. The smallest in-jokes often have the biggest emotional impact, precisely because they're rooted in real connection.